look at the refine edge, or in plain English, the cutout tools in Photoshop these days. A few versions back there was another similar tool for cutting images out, and it was so-so, and then they dropped it, and then the new revised version came back, I believe with CS5. And here's the deal. We've often all seen it. When you want to cut, in this case, this redhead kid out, and you have all of this fine hair detail, and the cheesy way is to cut it out like this. And we've all seen photographs that are quickly and poorly cut out, and they obviously look like they've been cut out with a scissors and don't look believable. What we want to do is use the tools here in Photoshop to do it and still hold much of this detail and have a sophisticated solution. So the first thing we want to do is just get a selection tool, and you could use any combination of selection tools and refine the selection. And notice I'm not particularly trying that hard to do a gorgeous tight selection. I'm just going to go ahead and just go around the image, and let's see here. All right, and again, I'm really not worrying too much about how fancy and detailed this is, and I'm just going to go ahead and go around. All right, and then I'll come over and I'll close this selection. Okay, and here we are. All right, so now I have a selection, and what you want to do is then go up into the options bar, and automatically we have a refine edge button now. And so I'll click on this, and it's going to bring up a new panel of tools, and that's what we've got here. And the first thing is, when we cut out an image, we, depending on the background color of the image, we want to see how well a job we're doing. And the first thing on this refined edge panel is different ways to look at the image. So here I'm looking at it on black. You could say, all right, let's see how it's going to look on white. And you can flip back and forth. You can see it with a masking overlay and a couple of other different ways. But I generally just shift between the black and the white. In this case, I like looking at the black because it'll show the almost white areas that I want to remove real well. So I'll stay on the black. Okay. Then the next thing is edge detection, and we turn on what's called the smart radius, and that is going to give us a brush shape, another brush-like tool that can be made bigger or smaller with the bracket keys. And the idea here is that we want to paint over all of these areas of, in this case, this whitish pink background that we want to remove. And we don't have to be real fancy about it. Literally, we just start painting it. And in the areas like in his hair, where we know we have spaces in between his hair that we want to remove, we just paint over all of that area. And this is applying the masking tool. Okay, and we can always make it smaller and mess with it in a couple of different ways, but clearly I'm doing this pretty quickly. Obviously, if you take your time and you practice it, you'll get a little bit better, and you'll find out what generally works for you. Here along the clean edge, it's pretty easy. Where it's clearly more of a challenge is in the case of his hair, and trying to keep that detail so that it looks believable. Now, here we see pretty good, not bad, and but you still see kind of a halo here. And then we can adjust the radius of the masking, the size of the refine area. And you know, you just have to try these different tools and see if you like one effect versus another. Then we come down and we have the adjust the edge. We can smooth it. We can feather it. And you see I feathered, and you can see how that works. Okay. And then we've got contrast. Now if I ramp up the contrast, you see it has a really hard kind of coarse look, and that doesn't look terribly believable. Okay. And then the last one, sometimes I'll move the smooth up a little bit, and then we have the shift the edge, and we can go to the left, the negative, and it really takes out a lot. But here is a good example. I'll switch to the white, and you see it really, that doesn't do anything for me. So I'll go back to the black. Okay. And then here, you know, I'll go to the positive, and you see it almost brings back much of the cutout. So typically, I'm sure different folks will have different suggestions. I sometimes will go to the positive or the negative just by a couple of notches. Okay. Now, then, as we can see, we still have sort of a halo, if you will, around the image. And even if you remove most of the background, you're still going to get a reflection from the background. And so on skin or on any surface. And so you see that even around his body or his shirt. And so to kind of get rid of some of that reflected glow on him, we want to go to the next little area, which is output, and decontaminate colors. Remove color fringe from the image. And so we'll turn that on. Okay. And then we can play with the slider. And you can see, look right here, you can see where it got more dull and brighter. So a little bit of this often will go a long way. Okay. And then we have how we want the final to look. Or to be presented, if you will. Now you see I've ramped up the decontaminate pretty high, and I'm going to go somewhere in between here. I might have gone back and tried to paint out a little bit more of some of this, or play with the shift edge a little bit, that sort of thing, to okay. The last little tool that we want to look at is at the bottom, and it's how do you want the output to be set up for you. Just simply the cutout version of the image on a brand new layer. Put the cutout image on a brand new document. Or put the image on a new layer or a new document, and with a layer mask that is hiding the background. Now, I like that because I can still have an opportunity to edit it some more with the layer mask. Hopefully you're familiar with layer masks. I have a previous video on layer masks, fundamental, and instead of actually removing the background, it will be hidden with the layer mask. So I'm just going to say a new layer with a layer mask, okay? And then I will say OK. And here's what we end up with. And again, I realize this has some flaws in it, and I would have gone back a little bit more carefully because I can see some things going on here. And just to show you real quickly, I already have another image opened up, the dune. So I'm going to pull the boy aside, and here's the old dune image. And I'm going to with my move tool, go to the red-haired kid. And before I go on, here you can see, here's the cutout version, and the cutout area is hidden by the layer mask. You see it right there, okay? And at any rate, I'm going to drag that over on top of the dune. And I know that it's a much higher resolution image, so I'm going to need to do this real quick and reduce him to fit the image of the dune. Okay. And once again, I'm going to suggest to you that while this is not perfect by any means, nonetheless, if you go in and look, you know, compared to some of the things we see, this is pretty darn good. And here I did it in, what, five minutes, and I could have taken my time and made further adjustments, and it would have looked even better and even more believable. So with these new refined edge cutout tools in Photoshop, you can do some pretty neat things. There's also later, I've got a couple of videos that talk about how to use the channels to make selections to cut things out. And even with these refined edge tools, I've had some of my students indicate they really like how that works. So check out the channels videos, and you might find that that's another way to do the same thing. And it's not a matter of right or wrong. As many of us know, there are 20 different ways to do things in Photoshop, and the bottom line is whichever one works the best for you, have at it. Thanks again, as always, for tuning in to the Rick Rice 1 channel, and look for some more videos and some soon to be coming PowerPoints. And some of those are based on readings and books from Robin Williams, and I'm a big fan of hers. So thanks very much. Talk to you soon.